Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Town Council Committee of the Whole Special Meeting Agenda. And I will be doing, time is 6:26 p.m. Councilor Burrell.
Here.
Councilor Bordelon.
Here.
Councilor Fitzgerald.
Here.
Councilor Good.
Here.
Councilor Jones informed me he will be absent, as well as Councilor McBride and Councilor Merritt. Councilor Pacino.
Here.
And myself, Mayor Parker.
Point of information?
4, 5, 6. We have 6 in attendance this evening. Your question, Councilor Bordelon.
Yeah, I wanted to check with you, since we're just kind of given this sheet, we don't really have much say in the times. Have we checked to see if the 6 o'clock time is convenient for folks that are working? Just throwing it out there, it might be a consideration.
Councilor Bordelon, your question, please.
Yeah, I'm getting to it. Thank you. It is a little too early with you work till 5. In the past, we started later. Our meetings, even our town council meetings start at 6:30.
Councilor Bordelon, your question, please.
So my question, as I already asked before, and it wasn't responded to, was have we thought about considering switching the times from 6 to a little bit later?
Mr. Burt, please.
The schedule was sent out to counselors to check their schedule, and we've been doing 6 for the last few years.
Yeah, it doesn't always work. In the past, I've asked for 6:30, and it was a consensus of the group, so. But anyway, just a thought moving forward. Thank you.
Moving on. So this evening's new business is the 2026-191-1 FYE 2026 proposed budget. As part of this process, as in previous budget sessions, we will have one round per budget fund item. And we will start on page 55 of the Legislative Policy 1001. Councilor Good, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move function number 1001, legislative policy, in the amount of $48,780.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Good, seconded by Councilor Fitzgerald, and we have Mr. Burt to present.
Good evening. In terms of the overall budget, first of all, this is the town council budget.
I can't hear.
Testing, right? Did it sound like it came through?
No.
No. Let me try a different one. That's, I hear that. Okay. This is the 1001 is the town council budget. It's going up. The 26 budget amount was 44,200. The new one is 48,780. The bulk of this budget is for your CCM dues. And then you've got 4,000 in there for beautification committee that comes out every year, $1,000 for firefighter cancer relief fund. But the big difference this year is we included 3,500 for the Christmas decorations at the town hall that we did this year. And it's up to you whether you want to keep that going or if you want to expand beyond that. But that's really the only change. And again, that's 3,500 for town hall.
Councilor Pacino.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, Manager Burt. The 5230 line did increase by 1,000. What was that?
That's things like the Martin Luther King Scholarship Dinners. This council's been more active than the last council, so it ebbs and flows with each council.
Understood. Thank you very much.
Any other questions? As seeing no other questions, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Councilor Burrell?
Aye.
Councilor Bordelon? I believe we lost Councilor Bordelon.
Councilor Burrell's volume R issue? What is this issue?
Counsel Bordelon, how do you vote?
I'm an aye.
Did she say?
She said aye, I believe she said aye.
Thank you. That is 6-0 to 0. Counselor Fitzgerald, please, for the next item.
I move to discuss item number 1006, legal services.
I'll second. Did you put the number on the board?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I'll second.
To the amount of, pardon me, $339,460.
No, I'm
450,000,
Uh,
legal,
Legal
1006.
services.
Page 66.
Pardon me, if I could, I'll correct myself. The number I'm looking at is $450,000.
I'll second.
I was looking at the wrong page.
It's easy to do.
Counselor,
Yeah.
Mr. Burt, I apologize.
And this incorporates all our legal services for a variety of things, our general issues, our collective bargaining agreement, meetings, everything legal goes through this. I do, though, I spent some time analyzing this, now that we're a little further into the year, and I do think we could drop this by 25,000 to 425. I feel pretty comfortable doing that.
I'd like to make an amendment.
Your amendment?
I'd like to move $425,000 to function number 1003, oh, I'm sorry, 1006, legal services.
Second, Pacino.
Motion made by Good, seconded by Pacino for $425,000. Discussion. Counsel Bordelon.
No, thank you. Can you speak to the increases that are in here?
It's actually flat funded, and now I'm saying we could decrease it by 25,000.
So all the other legal fees are not in this line when we're constantly going to court?
They are.
Okay. So how did, I'm just confused, I guess. I don't know if you can explain a little more.
I'm not quite clear on the question.
So you said it flatlined?
Meaning I budgeted the same amount. We anticipated that we'd probably have about the same level of legal services, though it's hard to tell. You could have something pop up mid-year, but from what we're seeing at this point, I feel comfortable dropping the amount by 25,000.
It still seems really high, don't you think?
Some years we spend this much, some we don't. It ebbs and flows. And what I don't like to do is go too short on it. For instance, we're going to be going this year over our contingency amount, and so I don't want to add more things that could go over on that. It's really hard to tell in advance what all will happen in a given year with legal.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, I just think it seems like it keeps going up. When I look at previous years from before, it just seems like we're asking for more. So it's just a little concerning. Thank you.
It's been budgeted the same, well, what was it, 400,000 2 years ago? Yeah.
Last year, we didn't even go over the budget, so it just.
No, we had a great year last year, and that happens sometimes. Sometimes we have more activity, sometimes we have less.
Yeah, so last year, I know this was not one of the items that we discussed as a council. It just went through as a town manager's budget, so.
Okay. And then, so then 24, and 25, what was it? You said that was 24?
Yep.
What was it in 25
And
budgeted?
25 was 450,000.
Yeah. So we've budgeted 450 the last couple of years. And about 2 years ago, they did up their fees for the first time, and, geez, since I've been here. So, we pay significantly less than many other municipalities per hour.
Okay, thank you.
Unfortunately, this is just the cost of doing business.
Well, it just seems like we have a lot of extra attorney fees lately, more than normal than most municipalities, and it's just for our size, it seems high.
Yeah, I'll disagree with you on that, but that's certainly welcome your opinion.
Absolutely.
Counsel Fitzgerald?
It seems by your recommendation that reducing it to 425,000, and from what I heard, the finance manager said that we've spent about 40 to 50,000 less than that per year. Do you feel like that cushion is adequate?
Say it again.
About the finance manager, Director Morrison mentioned that there's about a 40,000 difference between what was spent in a previous year and budgeted for last year. Do you feel like there's an adequate cushion between?
Yeah, unless something really unusual happens, but, you know, that is the purpose of fourth quarter transfers and contingency if something does happen.
But it seems like we have options in case we push up on that number, and I feel like that's a good recommendation.
Thank you.
Any other hands? Okay. Motion on the floor for the amendment is for the 425,000. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Counsel Bordelon?
I'm going to be a no.
Okay, that is 5 to 1 to 0 for $425,000. Counsel Pacino, for the next line item on page 68, please.
Page 68. I would like to move for executive management, 1,010, the number of 374,894.
Second.
Motion made by Pacino, seconded by Good. Mr. Burt?
This is the town manager budget. That includes 2 full-time employees and then a small amount of money for a part-time person that helps with minutes. The operating expenses, all in all, the budget's only up 2.5%. The operating expenses are up by $40, so the rest is just wage increases.
Any hand?
There's not a lot of things in this budget.
Seeing no hands, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Counsel Bordelon?
I'm a no.
Mount Move was 374,894. 5 in favor, 1 no. Counsel Bordelon, the motion passes. Counsel Burrill, could you please take 1064 on page 152, please?
Whoop.
I'm sorry.
Point of information. I think Mr. Burt
Oh,
has
he
one
did
more.
ask.
It doesn't
I'm
matter
sorry.
either way.
You know what? No, do you want to do that now?
I'll come back this way.
Okay. I apologize.
I'm here all night.
Yes, Parks and Rec, yes. Hey, Mr. Burt, could that be turned up a little bit? Could Parks and Rec please come up? Mr. Barry, Director Barry?
Okay, you ready?
Yes, sir.
I make a motion for line item 1064. Yes, $2,590,933.
Second.
Motion made by Council Burrill, seconded by Councilor Good. And we have Director Barry, and I apologize, could you guys introduce yourselves?
Ben Morse, Manager of Recreation Services.
Mary Jo Riley, Supervisor of Thrive 55.
Mr.
Good evening. Mark Berry, Director of Parks and Recreation. The 1064 budget that we're presenting to you this evening is based on a number of different plans that we've put together over the years. The Recreation Master Plan, which we did in 2023, which included a needs assessment and a level of service analysis, which looked at the existing equipment that we have and kind of ranked that as poor, fair, good. So what's in this budget is reflected in that information. So as mentioned earlier, our budget is, request is $2,590,933, which is an increase of $1,019,844, or a 4.8% increase over FY '26. Personnel expenses are up $101,635, or 4.7%. So what's driving that increase? Impacts to the budget are updates to the part-time and seasonal pay plan, which is tied into the state of Connecticut annual minimum wage adjustments. There's collective bargaining agreements, and we're also proposing to move the building monitor wages, which is currently in 3240. That amount is $73,000. We're proposing to move that into 1064, and I'll explain why. So the community center has transitioned from a recreation center to more of a community center. There are hundreds of meetings or events held by organizations outside of Parks and Recreation where a building monitor was provided at no charge. And this proposal aligns with the same funding source for the building monitors at Thrive 55. Groups that are using the community center now include Ledgelight Health District, Fitch High School Transition Program, the Register of Voters, Groton Youth Football, Women Between Cultures, Groton Little League, Groton Regional Theater, and Children's First Groton. Our operating budget is up $18,209, or 5.3%. So the impacts are printing overages, flyers for Thrive newsletters, and postcards for tabling events. Professional development, we've put more money in for continued commitment to succession planning through staff training for new employees, management training for food supervisor, food service supervisor, and increased training opportunities for programmers. Software maintenance fees are up. Under the old system, Adobe Acrobat used to come with the computer, and now you have to pay for that for each individual computer. And we find that we use that quite a bit with PDF management and things like that. Building property damage, this is something that we added this year from a recommendation from risk management. We do the best that we can to avoid getting into accidents. This is accidents related to operations out in the parks. Occasionally we'll run into somebody's fence with a mower, certainly not on purpose. Risk management suggested that we put money into this account. We hadn't in the past, and so we've put in, I think, $3,000 for this year. Hopefully we don't use any of that. Professional technical services is up just a little bit. We were able to make some cuts to that, which included the design of the Discover brochure used to be shipped out, and that's now done in-house. Our community outreach coordinator has a real gift for putting the brochures together. And last year, we had a real shortage of staff in the kitchen, and we ended up having to use a temp service, and there was an additional expense associated with that, but we're moving into a position where we will be fully staffed and will no longer need the temp service, so we cut that out of the FYE '27 budget. It is up a little bit, and that is mostly for parade participation. For this year, we're trying to get more folks involved. Some organizations won't participate in the parade unless they're paid. And so we're trying to grow the size of the parade. And vehicle operations and maintenance is up. You know, our equipment is getting older. We are replacing equipment, but it is getting older. And so the adjustment that we made was to align the budget with projected expenses. And happy to answer any questions that anybody might have.
Council Pacino?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. In the cost centers, line item, I'm tying this thing on. In the cost centers line item, 10,642, programs and events. That jumped up a little bit. I was wondering if you might be able to tell us a little bit about the programs and events in town.
Yeah, so that, we are doing more programs and events, but most of that is reflective of moving the building monitors from 3240 into 1064. They would fall under that cost center programs.
Understood. All right, thank you very much.
Any other questions? Council Bordelon?
Thank you. I just want to say that I, fully support the rec department, and especially the senior center. I think it's an asset to our community. It's one of the things that a lot of people always say, for tax dollars, it's one of the, amenities that everyone has a chance to utilize. So I think, as we grow our town and want to grow our grant list, we have to be putting back into our community to make it attractable and robust. And part of that is having good quality school education as well as good quality education at the senior center and the rec department for our youth. A lot of our athletic high school teams come out of like youth program and youth exercise. The senior center allows you to continue to do that into your older age. It's a place where people can come and are welcome. So I just appreciate what you do, and I fully support Parks and Rec. Thank you.
Any other hands? Seeing no other hands, motion on the floor is for $2,590,933. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. That passes 6-0 to 0. Be back around here. Council Bordelon, are you able to do the next item?
I am not. Thank you.
Okay. Back to
1 minute to turn to the right
one
page.
page 157.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move item 2010 Golf Course Fund for $1,908,317.
Second.
No, I'm sorry.
That's the
That's not the
financing
correct
amount.
line. It's the top amount, please.
It's the top amount, I'm sorry,
Yes.
total appropriation.
It's the top line, yes, because the other one's financing plan.
I got it. I'll correct my motion to the number of $1,784,668.
Second,
I'll
Pacino.
second that.
Motion's made by Counsel Good, seconded by Counsel Pacino. Mr. Barry.
Yes, Director Barry's still here. To my left is Eric Morrison, Golf Course Superintendent. So the golf course budget is actually a special revenue fund. So greens fees, cart fees, par 4 lease, and season pass holder, all that income pays for all the personnel and operating expenses for the golf course. So there's no tax dollars that are paying for the on-course operation of the golf course. So the budget that we've proposed is actually a decrease of $209,610, or 10.5%. Personnel services are up $1,102, or 0.084%. Impacts to the budget, actually, I'm pleased to report that health insurance is down. Yay. Other impacts are collective bargaining agreement, the part-time seasonal pay plan, and overtime. Operating expenses are down $210,622. The biggest part of that is payments and contributions, which that 200,000 had been put in the budget for the capital improvement projects on the course. So every other year, we do a golfer satisfaction survey, and the number one part of the course that always scores the lowest is the bunkers. And so we've been concentrating on fixing the bunkers for the last, well, I think since I've been here, so for quite a while, because there's a lot of bunkers. So that was cut from the budget. That's the biggest part. Other impacts to the budget are the vehicle operation and maintenance, increasing cost of equipment repairs, parts. The vehicle maintenance fees are what we pay to the fleet fund, or what the golf course pays to the fleet fund. Equipment and machinery was up a little bit. Eric has put in money for more turf covers to protect the greens during the winter. And we also have Eric and I have put together an asset replacement plan. So we have all this equipment, and we look at the life stage that it's in and kind of plan out a number of years when that's going to need to be replaced. And we put money aside each year based on what we know is coming up, so that when we get to the point where we need to replace a piece of equipment, we've set aside the money and have that money in the fund. Happy to answer any questions about the golf course.
Council Pacino?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Is there now a surplus?
I'm sorry?
Are you going to be operating on a surplus?
As of June 30th, 2020, make sure I get this right, 2025, we had a fund balance of $453. I'm sorry, 400, times that by 1,000.
We were at that point.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
Yeah, yes. A number of years ago, that would have been a good year for us. We have 453,000 in golf course fund balance right now. It's difficult to predict the future and know, what's going to happen over the next 3 or 4 months. We have enjoyed over the last 5 or 6 years robust play at the golf course, and we've been able to put money into the golf course. We're actually tracking a little bit ahead of last year, which I think for the first time in about 5 years wasn't our best year. We consecutively, for like 5 years in a row, kept having a better year. Last year, we fell back a little bit, but we are tracking right now ahead of where we were last year. So I can't answer your question. We may end up having to dip into fund balance in order to balance our expenses against our revenue against our expenses. But Eric that's something that he has done since he's been here. We don't have a lot of money to, I don't want to say discretionary, but there's a lot of things that, on the personnel side that we can't really change. So it all comes to the operating side, and Eric has done a really good job of making sure that we don't go over budget.
Outstanding. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Eric.
Council Bordelon?
Thank you. I really do appreciate the golf course and all that you guys do for it, and I think it is another one of our perks of Groton to have, so I think it's important to fund it, and if we're gonna have it, you gotta fund the maintenance, and, you know, it costs, so I do appreciate that. Has there been any talk to, like, try to bring in other revenues? I know, like, our pro shop, you know, it's based on the contract, which, you know, I understand that's a contract that was made before, so it's kind of privately run, in a sense. We don't make any money off the pro shop. But is there any way that we should, like, I don't know, when I visit other golf courses and things, like, there's shirts and mugs and other ways to kind of raise some extra funds that help go into other amenities. Has there been any talk of trying to sell any items that are, you know, Groton swag from the golf course that people, that directly impacts the golf course directly, funding going back into it?
I don't believe so. Are you suggesting that we carve out some of the space in the pro shop to put mugs and T-shirts, and then I don't know who would sell those? If
I'm
we
just
were-
asking, I mean, it's,
if
you
we
don't
were-
have to, I was simply asking, because a lot of the other golf courses, like if you're on vacation, like down at Myrtle Beach or anywhere else, like, there's part of their funds, that they, you know, put back into their golf courses, direct revenues from sales of items, you know, and so I'm not saying you have to carve out, but if we don't have anything to buy, you know, it's, people look for type of souvenirs that say, you know, Groton, you know, people who travel and things like that. So if it's not possible, it's not possible. I'm just simply asking. Our pro shop set up in a different platform, so the funds don't go into the golf course. So I didn't know if there was a way, and I understand what you're saying. You don't know who would sell them and what you would do, but looking down the future, it would be nice to have something that people could purchase that, you know, is, you know, graphically located to the golf course and has a direct funding revenue that helps the golf course out.
Yes, I would agree that when the time comes, the pro shop would be operated a little bit differently. And there, at that point, there may be an opportunity for what you've described.
Yeah, okay, well, thank you for that. I mean, again, it's no insult to the people running it now, it's just, you know, a contract that was made many, many years ago, but a lot of places don't run like that anymore, and I think it's a great opportunity down the road to start thinking about how we can make that pro shop work to the advantage of Groton. I think there's a lot of revenue that we're losing directly. But again, I support this golf course in its entirety, and I appreciate that you guys are able to save a little bit of money to help maybe help some of the bunkers that you guys are trying to utilize for. Would that be the plan in this year? If you have some extra revenues in there, do you plan to use any of that money to offset some costs for, you know, helping out any maintenance?
Yes, if we, at the end of the year, don't have to dip into fund balance in order to balance the budget, I would expect that Eric and I would be coming back to the council to request funding for continued capital improvement projects through the golf course fund balance.
That's great. Thank you very much.
Seeing no other hands, motion's been made for $1,784,668,000. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 That's 6 to 0 to 0. Council Fitzgerald, please.
I make motion for item number 3240 related to recreation and Thrive 55 plus activities with a number of $1,187,716.
Second.
Motion made by Fitzgerald, seconded by Good. Director Barry.
The account that we're discussing now is also a special revenue fund, so all the expenses associated with it are paid for by folks that sign up for our programs. Most of the programs have a fee associated with them, and this revenue covers the expenses associated with those courses. The special revenue budget is 179,561 less than what it was last year, or 13%. The personnel expenses are down 109,594, or 15%. The reasons being the proposal to move the community center building monitor wages to 1064. We've also, because we have really struggled over the last couple of years to get aquatic staff, and we've also lost some of the hours that were available to us before. So we are having to cut back on the aquatics program. So that means we're renting the pool less. So a reduction in, and we're also reduced the number of staff we have and the number of hours. That comes to $33,500. So between those two is pretty much the whole 109,000. Operating expenses are down 69,967, or 10.3%. Under professional technical services, I mentioned we're renting the pool less. That comes to $47,000. There was, we did increase the building cleaning expenses at Thrive that are not covered under the Blackburn contract. There was also a reduction in repairs and maintenance. Refinishing the media center floor was something that was in our budget for this fiscal year, but actually Public Works is going to be doing that. Equipment and machinery, where we put some money in to replace some old folding tables and chairs at the community center. We are planning to purchase a commercial grade ping pong table. We have now 2 nights of ping pong at Thrive, and I think there's, is it 39 or 40 players?
Yeah, we have
It's-
about 40 players,
Yeah.
and we're looking at expanding. Part of that is that table tennis can assist people with Parkinson's. It's shown that it's a good program for them to participate in and actually help with their muscle development and maintenance. And so they discovered us, so we're trying to work with the Parkinson's group locally to get people to come and try out table tennis. So it has expanded a lot. It started with like 8 people, and now we're up to 40. So.
Yeah, and it started out one night, and now it's 2 nights a week. And the other increase in equipment machinery is we have 2 cyber cycles, which are exercise equipment that are tied into, you can actually like compete against other people across the country, and it's been very popular, and there's a fee connected with that, and that has gone up. Oh, and then, I'm sorry, last thing, materials and supplies, that has gone up because we budgeted more money for food costs.
Any questions? Councilor Fitzgerald?
You mentioned a decrease related to less pool time, I'm assuming at Avery Point.
Yes, we were renting the pool at Avery Point, mostly on the weekends. And as I mentioned, we can't get some of the hours that we could before, and we can't get staff.
I see.
Yeah.
So that's more so logistics relative to like a funding constraint on it, of just inability to, is it UConn's hesitance to schedule that time, or is it more so just restricted by the number of staff you have?
I think it's both. You know, we would book time at Avery Point, and then because we couldn't get enough lifeguards or instructors to run a class, we would have to cut the class, which opened up time, and I think we weren't we weren't able to hold on to those times after a while because Avery Point could fill it with other, with other groups that had more success in filling, or being able to fill that time.
I see.
I can expand on that a
Sure.
little bit. Like the Sunday time in particular, we used to be Sunday mornings. They started giving it to a dive program, and it's just really hard to get people to work from 11 to 3 or 4 on a Sunday, which is almost the same time as on Saturdays. We're kind of late morning and go till late afternoon. And so kind of for all these high school kids and kind of to give up both days of their weekend, it was hard to get people to work both days. And that's the only hours we have available at the pool. We couldn't expand to weekdays or, because there's swim teams in there. So it was really only the weekday times that were available. So a lot of the staff just goes to places that they can get more hours.
I want to make sure this question is budget related. So I want to limit it to a budget question, but is there any opportunity to potentially purchase time or access to New London's new rec facility for Groton residents?
Right now, I believe that even New London Recreation is splitting it with the contractors that are running that building, so they're renting from their own building essentially. So at this point, there's not that type of plan. We do have a plan for like a regional swim team program that would be happening out of, I believe, the East Line pool that's in kind of initial talks. But it's a little bit tricky to get into there. I think they're pretty maxed out with their time.
I know, this lifeguard issue is not unique to Groton. This is something that departments and agencies across the country have struggled with. And, as Ben mentioned, trying to get somebody to give up a few hours on both Saturday and Sunday just isn't really appealing. And there's certainly a demand for aquatics programs, but we're just unfortunately in a situation where we can't meet the demand.
I see. I appreciate the insights on it. I feel like we get good value at renting it relative to the cost of maintaining a pool, and so I feel like I would hope that we could expand the access, but I understand your explanation on those kind of limitations. And that's all for me.
Thank you. Council Borderline?
Thank you. Yeah, I do have concerns about the limited accessibility, but I also understand the concern, as Mr. Berry had stated, about the lifeguard situation is not just us, it's everywhere. My mother-in-law is an avid swimmer, and she, does stuff out at Bubbles to Butterflies out towards Griswold or Preston. I'm not sure where that is exactly, but, and I know there was a gentleman on the Navy base who was a diver who used to go there and help do swim lessons. And so maybe what I'm getting to is, have we reached out to any of these like programs and maybe we can collaborate? Like the Naval Base has a pool and they have lifeguards as well. And at one point I know they were struggling. And it's, as you stated, it is very hard to find someone who wants to work 3 hours on a Saturday to Sunday. I mean, those aren't prime times, and that's not a lot of money, for a few hours. But if there's some type of co-op or partnership, I was reading something about this, is where not just in our area, but other areas, we're kind of hiring a full-time person that, was working in multiple places, and everybody kind of paid into that. I don't know. I mean, we're not going to solve it tonight, but have we thought of reaching out to any of those swim schools at all?
Our current aquatics director is even currently investigating some of those partnerships with both other swim organizations.
Sorry, I'm having trouble hearing. I apologize.
Our current swim director is currently we've investigated some of those possibilities with partnering up either with swim groups that are also using the pool that may have staff there, or with Avery Point itself. None of them have been kind of panned out at this point, but it is something that we're exploring. We realize the importance of swimming on the shoreline and try to get as much as we can.
Yeah, I do appreciate that. And yeah, there might even be like a check with the military base as well. You know, there's a lot of, you know, for the military, swimming is a requirement, obviously, and there's a lot of divers that are pretty advanced swimmers that, you know, sometimes might want to give time or work, you know. It would be able to do maybe the small hours. The other thought is, I know my cousin was a lifeguard all through high school and the summer, and sometimes college students might want a Saturday or Sunday, so maybe reaching out to some of the swim teams for certified. I don't know, just brainstorming, because as much as, you know, even the Fitch High School swim team perhaps might have students that, you know, have limited schedules. I know when I was in high school, like a Saturday job that would allow me to only work a Saturday or Sunday was desirable, right? When you have other things going on. So I don't know, just, I can appreciate the efforts and I understand the exhaustion of trying to find. So I don't empathize with you guys, but I do think it's something we don't want to see dwindle away. And I know that Groton doesn't have its own pool, which is a detriment to our community. Swimming is a public health concern. Most schools in certain districts, actually, when you graduate high school, you actually have to pass a swimming in gym class. So I hate to see it go away. But I have heard from folks saying the accessibility is so limited that they have to go to those other programs and other swim schools. So I don't know, I would love to collaborate and figure out a way to, you know, bring it back in a more robust fashion, but understand the fact that we do have trouble finding lifeguards, but.
Council
you know,
Bordelon, your time?
You know, can you move the camera, John, so I can see the time? I can't see it. But anyway, thank you. I hear your guys' concern. I just don't want to see the program die.
And we have utilized swimmers from both the men's and women's at Fitch High School as instructors or lifeguards in the past.
That's great to hear. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Motion on the floor is for $1,187,716. All in favor?
Aye.
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 That's 600. Oh, that's right, we're doing CIPs. That's okay. Mr. Burt, we're doing CIPs, correct?
There's 3 CIPs now.
Okay.
4A is the first one,
I'm sorry.
page 20 in the CIP section. Under the books, the whole CIP section, page 20 of that.
Oh my gosh, am I gonna say this right? So we're on CIP 4A. Which is 4, okay. So I make a motion for $60,000 for Parks and Recs facility improvements under CIP A, page 20 of our books, budget books.
Second.
Motion's been made by Parker and seconded by Good. Mr. Berry. I mean, Director Berry, I apologize.
To the mayor.
The request under facility improvements is $60,000 to construct a floating dock adjacent to the ramp at Calvin Borough. So last year, the council approved $120,000 to replace the crumbling boat ramp at Perizzotti Boat Launch. This new floating dock will be adjacent to the ramp and will allow people to, with just a ramp, you know, your boat goes down into the water, and you've got somebody standing on shore that has just trailered the vehicle down there and drives off and parks it. Well, now you've got a boat out in the water, and you've got no way to get to the boat because it's out in 4 or 5 feet of water. So putting in the floating dock adjacent to the ramp would allow people to get from shore out to the dock so that the boat can pull up and they can be on their way.
Council Good?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Great idea. I'm happy to see it. I love to see the access there. It's a wonderful spot, so I really appreciate you considering people waiting in the water for their boat.
Yeah, and the DEEP is currently looking at the plans, and as soon as we hear back from them, we'll be able to get this project started.
Excellent. Thank you.
Councilor Fitzgerald?
I agree with Councilor Good. It seems like this is the natural next step after the 2026 project to fix the boat ramp. And it seems like it seems like it just naturally has to happen. So I support this.
Yeah.
Director?
Just before a vote is made, can we just specify this one is currently to be paid from CIP fund balance?
I just, I see no other hands. Motion on the floor is for 60,000, which will come from CIP fund balance. All in favor?
Aye.
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 That passes 600. Okay, the next page is the community tech, nope, we don't have that. Page 22, am I correct in that? The golf course improvement plan?
For the community connect.
We're doing a motion. Do you want to withdraw, do you want to zero this out until you get through the year? The golf course plan?
I'd rather wait.
Yeah, we're going to request to zero this out. Director Barry wants to get through the budget year to see where his fund balance is for the golf course, then you might do a larger project on the course. So at this time, we're requesting zero.
I'd like to make a motion.
Okay,
Capital Improvement Program, Project C, Golf Course Improvement Plan, on page 22 of our CIP, to be 0.
Second.
motion made by Council Good, seconded by Council Fitzgerald. And this was provided the explanation that they're doing it down the road. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Council Burrell, were you an aye?
Yeah.
Thank you. That was zeroed out. That was 600. All right. Oops.
4E, page
4E.
24.
We're on 4E. Counselor Pacino, could you take that for me, please?
And this is fund balance also, CIP fund balance.
Am I passing?
We'll have to do that.
What am I doing here?
Yep,
120.
yep. Yes.
All right. Activity Parks and Rec Project Athletic Field Development, E. I move the requested for FYE 27, funds of $120,000
Second.
Out of CIP fund balance.
I'll see you.
out of the CIP fund balance.
Motion made by Council Pacino, seconded by Council Good. And Director Barry.
This project involves replacing the existing irrigation system at Pequannock Plains Park, which has, I'm not even sure how long it's been in, but I can tell you, anybody that's driven by Pequannock Plains Park over the last 4 months, there's 4 stakes in the ground with a hole. We've been waiting for parts to come in. This is how old that system is, and we're constantly fixing leaks, wires, they get worn out and we're having to splice and would like to replace that system. It would be more efficient in the sense that you wouldn't drive by at 4 a.m. during a rainstorm and seeing the irrigation on. So the new systems account for that. So there'd be an efficiency in water use. And this is something that I think that without irrigation, the fields would look like the fields at Calvin Burrows, I'm sorry, Clodchester, just not in very good shape.
Okay. Council Pacino?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Director Barry, the new system that you speak of with that it detects the, does it detect whether it's raining or does it, oh my goodness, I gotta press this button. Does it detect whether it's raining or does it detect the moisture in the ground?
Yeah, I think there's actually a couple of different systems. One will look at the moisture content and say, you know what, we don't need to turn the system on. Others may look at the fact that there's some kind of a sensor and they are sensing that there's moisture coming, there's moisture on the sensor so that it wouldn't come on.
Super. Thank you very much.
Council Good?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm just wondering the timing, if this does pass, how long would that close the fields down to install?
We would likely schedule that around field use in the fall, so I think we would probably try to do this late fall.
Okay.
And to minimize interruption minimize interruption of play.
Right.
And I don't, play drops off in the summer. Organized youth sports aren't using the field as heavily in the summertime, but I'd have to have a discussion with the contractor, but I feel like late fall would be better for that.
And how long would the field have to be closed for to install that?
At this point, I couldn't answer that question.
Oh, okay. I appreciate it.
Was that Council Good?
Thank you.
Council Bordelon?
Thank you. Yeah, I do think it's very vital that we, keep up with our systems, even though there could be some time possibly down on the fields, but without this, it really does affect the quality long-term. So it's definitely a good thing to have. My one question, it makes sense to me to also get this done, before we start redoing the playground and all of that, right? To get this kind of set in and, or would it really matter? Or I'm just curious, because I'm just worried if this didn't pass, it seems like a nice thing to have done in conjunction with like the playground renovation, the irrigation being put in and all of that.
I don't believe that putting in a new irrigation system would have any impact on the proposed improvements to the playground.
Okay. The reason I ask is because I know like the walking area goes up to the playground and around, and so I didn't know if that part of that would have to be closed while they were putting in the irrigation in conjunction with the equipment coming in and digging up and all that stuff, so.
There could be some disruption related to the walking path around the athletic fields. But we would certainly have a discussion with the contractor and try to minimize that. Most of the irrigation is on the inside of the track. I'm sure that, I know there are some water lines that go and connect over to the building, where the pumps are. But for the most part, the irrigation system is inside of the walking track. So I would expect that the impact would be minimum, but there could be a day or two where the walking track would be closed due to making the connection.
Yeah, no, it's great, and I was just wondering if there was, depending on where the connections were in the digging, if it just, makes sense to have this done prior to the renovation, of the actual playground and all that. It just makes sense to me. If I didn't know where the lines ran, if they ran that way or under anything on that side of the field.
Yeah, I believe that they connect to the bathroom and the maintenance shed that's right out on Fort Hill Road. I know that's where the water meter is, so I'm sure that's where the water connection is also.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm in full support of this. I think it's important to keep the fields properly maintained, and the proper irrigation systems are vital to keeping them, playable. So, thank you.
Seeing no other hands, all in favor?
Aye.
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 So that is 120,000 from CIP fund balance, and that was 600. Thank you, Director Barry.
Thank you.
Okay. We're going to take a 5-minute recess and be back at 7:33.
Bring your
They're
own,
bigger than I would have thought.
bring your own seat
It
cushions.
was a beautiful
Okay,
picture.
ready? All right, we are back from recess at 7:35, and we are now on to account number 1012, and I believe that is Counselor Burrell. And that's on page 80.
80, okay.
Well, technically 83, but.
All right.
And you, on page 83, you can see the amount.
Yeah, I got it right here. Okay, on line item 1012, human resources, I can move to number of $541,685.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Burrell and seconded by Counselor Good, and we have Director Green to present this evening.
Good evening, everybody. We have a small change. There is an overall increase of 3.9%. The percentages are slightly different between personnel services and operating services. The 3.9 is the average. Personnel services, as for most of these budgets, are due to personnel increases. And the operating expenses total close to 10,000. Almost 7,000 is an increase in training and tuition reimbursement. And if I can remind you, when we were here in the last couple of months for an update to the non-union terms and conditions, one of the changes was around non-union tuition reimbursement, and there was a statement in there that there would be a finite amount budgeted in of 20K. We did not put all of that in. Actually, there was a reduction in the town manager's budget of 8,000 in the fiscally responsible sense of phasing it in. So there will be more next year so that we can live up to what we have in the non-union terms and conditions. And the other approximately 2,500 relates to our ATS, our applicant tracking system. The monthly charges that we pay now have been moved from IT to HR. And on top of that, there's about $1,000 I'm looking to make an expansion so that there can be a manager interface there for a little more efficiency. So that covers our increases.
Any questions? Seeing no hands, I make a motion to, the motion's been made for the $541,685. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Counsel Bordelon?
I said aye.
That was 6-0. We are now on 1070, which is page 86, which number is on page 88.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to move $928,778 for the insurance. Ooh, Dave.
Insurance claims 1070.
Yes, insurance and claims, item number 1070.
I'll second that. Motion's been made by Counsel Good and seconded by Parker. Director Green.
For this account, there's a 2% increase, and I would note for the council that this is the third and final year of the shifting percentages between us and the Board of Ed under the property. And as a reminder, that's in relation to the ownership of the new schools in the last few years. So this will be the last time that you see that. And the only other notable change here is typically you've seen in our summaries that there's always a chance that cyber might be split off from the property. And in this instance, we were able to ourselves split it off and actually get better coverage for that. So there is an addition on the first page under Cost Center 0. You'll see a new line for cyber, which includes ransomware, social engineering, and it puts us in a better position.
It's a decrease, correct?
There is a decrease overall. We were still able to roll in the changes and get better coverage.
Seeing no hands, motion on the floor is for 928-778. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 That passes 6-0. Counselor Fitzgerald.
For item number 2120, reevaluation fund, I move a number of, make sure I'm, $389,500.
One thing, we're on
1071?
1071, page 92, please.
Oh, one second. Page 90.
Self-funded, right?
Yes, I went ahead. For item number 1071, self-funded plans, I move a number of $12,024,458.
Second.
Motion made by Fitzgerald, seconded by Good. Councilor Green.
Happily for this plan, there is also a decrease, as we heard today, earlier tonight, I should say. Insurance is doing well. We had a spike a couple of years ago, and we're evening back out. You can see for retirement, we are at a funding of 80.5, so we're moving in the right direction there and had a good smoothed market value return. For health insurance, we will enjoy another year of no lasering for claims, which is a plus. And I would say those are the majority of the two from a cost perspective, but if you have any questions, happy to answer them.
Any questions? Seeing no questions, we're moving $12,024,458. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Council Burrell and Council Borderline, I didn't hear you. Council Burrell, you're muted.
Aye, sorry.
Aye. Council Borderland, I believe that was a hand up, so I'm going to take that as a yes. So, so that's 6-0 for $12,024,458.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Dr. Green.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Whose turn is it? Oh, that's you, right?
I guess it is.
Okay, we are going to page 95
97.
for account number 1013. And we have Director Morrison here for her section, and Councilor Pacino, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. For finance, for the function of finance 1013, I would like to move the number of $1,979,839.
Second.
Motion made by Pacino, seconded by Good, and Director Morrison.
Good evening. For the finance budget this year, it was an overall increase of $102,736. That'd be nice, right? Or overall 5.5% increase. Half of that, or a little bit more than half, is made up of personnel services, contractual increases, as well as some additional funding for part-time staff that we are looking to potentially maybe put into the assessment office. We saw the retirement of a long-term staff in that office, and along with that, we lose a lot of institutional knowledge. We have a couple of new hires in that office, a couple of promotions within that office, so we're looking to make sure that we're being mindful of supplementing and supporting all the staff that are in there. So there was that. There's also some increases pertaining to professional development. We want to make sure that all of the new staffing that we've hired, as well as the staff that we currently have, are up to date in their trainings and certifications, and that it's been important along the way. Also is an increase for some printing and postage expenses, as well as some professional and technical services for some new softwares that we're hoping that will improve efficiencies within the tax and assessment office. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Council Fitzgerald?
Just on the staff breakdown, could you explain what the difference between a financial aid has 35 hours and 45 hours? I recognize the 5-hour difference, but is that just different?
I'm sorry, which ones are you looking at?
On page 98, when it lists the employee listing, the
Yep.
financial assistant 1, 35 hours, and financial assistant 1, 40 hours. It looks like there's 3 financial assistant 1s, 35 hours, and 1 financial assistant 1, 40 hours. And that's,
Yep.
just curious on the,
Currently, the financial assistant one that is 40 hours is in our purchasing division. There's only 2 staff that are in our purchasing division. So the decision was made a number of years ago to increase the number of hours for that particular position, where the other financial assistants that are in different divisions, 35 hours is sufficient enough to accommodate their need for workflow.
I see, thank you.
Any other hands? Okay, seeing no other hands, motion on the floor for $1,979,839. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 That passes 6-0 to 0. Counselor Burrell, we are on page 99, which the number's on page 100, please.
Yeah, I got it.
Thank you.
All right, we got item 2120, reevaluation fund. I believe would be the $389,500.
Second, Pacino.
Motion's made by Counselor Burrell, seconded by Counselor Pacino. And Director.
So the revaluation fund was created a number of years ago to support the state mandated revaluations that are required by the municipalities. All the costs that are related to the revaluation are included in this budget. And because this occurs on, every 5 years, the intent is to slowly build up this fund to have the funds available to utilize when the higher expenses occur. So we are getting to that point. The revaluation is coming up. That's due for the 10/1/2026 year. So we're starting to see some of the purchase orders and things put in place for that. However, we did request a decrease in this particular fund because it's been identified that some of the legal expenses that we thought were going to be higher are actually not going to be as high because a larger appeal has settled. So we have actually seen a decrease in the request of $118,900 or 23.4%, which is great. And also we plan to use some fund balance in fiscal '27. So the general fund does contribute to this fund annually. So the request for that is $170,000 to come, $75,000 to come from general fund, but there is over $200,000 of the proposed budget that is going to be utilized from fund balance.
Any questions? Counsel Good?
Just a point of it, does that have to be a part of the motion for the general fund versus?
That comes at a later time when we do a separate function.
Okay, I recall, thank you. That's all.
Any other? Counselor Pacino?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Director, how much is currently in this fund after all these years of putting into it?
So it kind of ebbs and flows. because every 5 years, we do have those expenses that occur. So if you refer to page 99, there's a chart on the front, and it will, it shows you that the fund balance as of the end of fiscal '25 was about $445,000.
Okay. And we're proposed to put another 212 in, okay? And then it's gonna get wiped out again?
Yes. Yeah, and you can kind of see as the years go on, like, it'll increase and then it'll go back down again. So the intent is to try to not have a large balance in there
It
continuing.
makes sense. I was just looking for a snapshot of what was there now, but I get it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Seeing no other hands, the motion on the floor is for $389,500. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. That, Counselor Baril and Bordelon, I'm sorry, I did not catch it. Okay. Counselor Bordelon?
I said aye.
Thank you. That
That's,
passes,
that was the third time.
that passes 6-0. We are now on to 2060 account number. That is page 187. And I believe that's Counselor Good.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Item 2060, Mumford Cove Special District. I move a total of $21,452.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Good, seconded by Counselor Fitzgerald. Director.
So the Mumford Cove Special District is essentially to pay for fire protection costs that are provided to the Mumford Cove Association by Knowing Fire District. So there's very minimal swing in this function each year, and the expenses are paid by taxes from the residents within that area. So at this time, because there's not really a large difference from last year, the proposed mill rate is 0.28 mils for fiscal '27, which is no change from last year.
Seeing no hands, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That passes 6-0. Okay. Counselor Fitzgerald, and that is on page 190. Please go, actually, number is on page 192. The sewer district, please.
For item number 4010, Groton Sewer District, I propose a number of $1,234,820.
Second.
Motion's made by Counselor Fitzgerald, second by Counselor Good.
So this function primarily pays for the debt service that is associated with the principal and interest payments for sewer bond payments for the Clean Water Fund loan, as well as a sewer bond from 2021. There was a decrease actually in this function of about $23,000 or 1.8%, mainly due to the scheduled debt payments that are paid from this fund. Just as a note, this does cover all the sewer lines except for the city and the Navy. And because of the slight decrease, there is a slight decrease proposed in the mill rate, because this is also funded with taxpayer funds, to 0.37 mils, down from 0.38 mils in the prior year.
Any questions? Right, seeing no hands, The motion on the floor with the number is $1,234,820. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion's made, 600. We are now on to 1076, debt service. And that's on page 202. I believe that's Council Pacino.
It is.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. For the function of debt service, 1076, I would like to move the number of $9,556,859.
I'll
Second.
second. Motion's made by Pacino, seconded by Parker. Director.
So this function contains the principal and interest payments for the long-term financing for general obligation and school bonds. We are asking for a decrease in this budget of $494,560, or 5%. Again, related to just the scheduled payments that are having a decrease in the principal and interest. As these are scheduled payments, we don't really have a lot of negotiating for not paying these, what is being asked. So, are there any questions on that?
Any questions? Councilor Fitzgerald.
I am curious, you mentioned, and this is just, my question is about, this is for the interest payment due in April 2026 on a short-term note included. I'm just curious, the budget won't be finalized by then. It's more so just a logistics question on the availability of the funds for that payment.
So the amount that is being paid in April of '26 was part of last year's budget. We're currently working through another short-term note. So with the school construction project, there were 3 schools that were being bonded. And only one of the schools has been audited by the state so far. So we've received the retainage portion back from the state on that school. The 2 elementary schools, we're still rolling the note of the amount that they need to pay back to us because they have not finalized the audit. So we've got an estimate of the note that we're going to be finalizing in April of this year. That's paying off the one from before. But the interest that's part of the 27 is just an estimate at this point.
I see, thank you. All set for me.
Any other questions? Seeing no other hands, the motion's for $9,556,859. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That passes 600.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we are now on to contingency, which is is Town Manager Burt. And is that Council Burrell? And that's on page 204. Nope, I'm wrong. That's page 208. Council Burrell, you're on mute.
Not here, sorry.
That's
I believe for contingency, line item 1094, want to move $300,000.
Second.
Motion's been made by Burrell, seconded by Good. Mr. Burt.
Hello. This is our contingency for anything unknown. It can look a little deceiving. If you look, it looks like it's 225,000 for 26. It actually was budgeted at 300,000 and is staying the same. As you move money out of there, we moved 75,000 out for human services. Because that increases human services, you have to show that decrease here. So it's always a little tricky. It's actually flat funded. And you never know from year to year what you're gonna need. This year, we're gonna blow, it's gonna be much beyond that with the snow. It's gonna be probably several $100,000 beyond this. So, but, you know, we don't have the snow every year, so we don't budget, you know, 700,000 every year. So this is a good average typically to keep.
Any questions? Seeing no hands, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That passes 6-0 to 0. And I will take a motion to recess
I move to recess
Second, Pacino.
until
until March
Until-
31st.
Tuesday, March 31st at 6 PM here at the Town Hall Annex.
Motion's been made to recess by Council Good, second by Pacino, all in favor?
Aye.
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 That's 6-0 to 0, and we will be back on March 31st at 6 PM. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Point of information, just really quick.